All right, hopefully I'm centered. If I'm not, can't help it. Hey, what's up you guys? It's Tina back again with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about meditation, the way that I meditate, what meditating is for me, and hopefully it could help you find ways to meditate. There's many types of different meditations, and there's different ways that you can go about it. All of that it focuses on is making sure that you're just aware of your thoughts, aware of your mind. Meditation just helps you hone into those thoughts that passively pass you by. Oh, that's a B, that's a B, that's a B. Okay. A lot of people go throughout their days not really paying attention to anything that they're thinking about, not really paying attention to anything that's going on. They're just going through the motions, doing whatever they have to do, whether it involves work, school, friends, family. A lot of people are distracted a lot of the time. It's hard for a lot of people to just sit down, be by themselves, to really monitor what you're thinking. When you actually give yourself the time and you sit down with yourself, then you start to see the thoughts that you're thinking. That could be hard for a lot of people because there could be things that they want to ignore. There could be things that they don't want to acknowledge. There could be some problems they don't want to deal with because they're too distracted by life. Like, okay, I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. The thing about meditation is the importance of patience, temperance. When you're in charge of your thoughts, then you're in charge of your emotions. Just really taking control over your body and stuff like that. Ways to be mindful: you can just sit down, don't do anything. Let your thoughts come by, let it pass. A lot of people might think that meditation is the act of not thinking at all, that your mind is completely blank. But the way that I like to think about meditation is that you're just mindful of your thoughts. And when you're mindful, when you see the things that you're thinking, then you can filter out if you actually want to keep those thoughts, if you want to keep those belief systems, those intentions that you've had from before, or if you want to change them or completely get rid of them. Oh, that spider's right here. Wait, what? What? Somehow, the spider made a web connecting to my face? I don't know, I just saw... What is going... Okay, the universe really wants me to notice that spider. I will keep that image in my head. All right. I got the message, universe. I will search up what a spider means later. Jeez. Okay. Anyways, I don't even know what I left off. That's pretty useful to be aware of the thoughts that you have in your head, and it helps you filter out what you need and you don't need anymore. Any thoughts, any self-limiting thoughts that don't serve you anymore. Right? They could be emotions and energies attached to you that don't really serve you anymore. Whatever thoughts come in your head, the Buddhists call this the monkey mind. Like your thoughts jump from one branch to another quickly and they don't stop. And it keeps going and it keeps going and it's so fast and whatever and you're just passing by. But the goal of meditation is hopefully to slow down that process of jumping from branch to branch, being able to slow down. When you meditate, usually... you should have an intention on why you're meditating, right? You should have intentions on anything that you're doing. Be mindful of whatever you're doing and realize that you're doing it. In the beginning, I used to... I'm talking too fast. In the beginning, I used to just focus on my breath. And what really helped me was counting my breaths. So when I breathe in, 1. Out, 2. And then I would count to 10. And then I would start over. So in that way, I could be mindful of all the breaths that I have and all the breaths that I take. And when I lose track of the number, that's how I know that my mind's spaced somewhere else. What you really want to focus on is the number of the breath, 1, but feeling it come in your body. So you feel your chest inflate. You feel your chest deflate. You feel your stomach get filled with air. You feel it get empty. You feel the air passing through your nose, whatever. If you have a very active imagination, a very active mind, is to use that active mind, to use that monkey imagination, focus on your body. You do a body scan. You feel what you feel at your feet, and then you go all the way out throughout your legs, throughout your thighs, in your stomach, up your arms, chest, head, wherever. Wherever you feel pressure, just being super mindful of your body and all the things that you are feeling. Just being super aware. It's going to be hard at first. It is going to be very hard to switch from distracting yourself from friends, family, work, school, social life, technology, to not doing anything at all. I know that it's going to be hard, but if you keep practicing, then it will get better. So in the beginning, you might get frustrated, and that makes sense, and it is okay, and you are allowed to feel like that. But be aware that you are angry. Be aware that you are frustrated, and then ask yourself, why am I triggered? Why do I feel like this? your mind will start unraveling different things. When you give yourself the time to understand something, you will understand something. Everything that you need is in you now to understand anything that is going on. And if you give yourself the time to pay attention, to unsolve these ideas, to unravel everything that there is to unravel about the situation that you were concerned about, or even if you're not even aware that there's a situation that's still stuck in your mind, that still bothers you, it will come out. Just give yourself the time to have your body present itself anything that it needs to. You've ever been in a pool, right? Yes, you've been in a pool, and then have you ever tried to like sit on top of something that's filled with air, like a balloon, or like those little arm cushy air things, right? You can keep trying to push down the balloon under the water as much as you can, but eventually it'll just pop back up. You don't want the balloon, the ball, to pop out of nowhere and surprise you, splash other people. Splash other people mean like have your emotions project onto other people, right? No, the sun's going away. No, come back. Okay. If you don't understand my analogy, I understood it. I don't know. I hope that helps. There's definitely a better way to say this. This is just the way that I'm thinking about it right now. The goal is to not have your subconscious feelings, subconscious problems, issues be so subconscious anymore. You always want to have it on the surface, and you always want to be aware of everything that is going on around you. So the goal is to have all of your beach balls laying on the surface of the water, so you can see every one of them. So you're mindful of everything that goes on. You can clean out the pool whenever you want, you know? When you practice meditation enough, then you'll eventually be able to take out those beach balls that are just taking up your space, taking up your pool, relaxed space. You know what I mean? There's a better way to say that. But that's the analogy I'm going with. Why did I say that one out of all things? The whole roundabout analogy. One of the things that in the beginning when I started meditating, all the things that started weighing me down, it definitely came back up. When things would happen in my life, especially during this time before I started meditating, there's definitely a lot of people that I've lost along the way up to this point. Before, I would try to be very logical and rationalize everything and just say, well, things happen the way that they happen, and people leave when they want to leave, and I can't control other people's free will, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to turn to hate to be okay. I didn't want to hold any of those negative feelings, but I'm human. You know, you can't really help that sometimes you feel bad when people leave your life, when things change. And because I didn't want to hold hate, I just ignored my feelings completely, and I never dealt with them. You can say that time heals, and it does. Time does heal, but it's not just time. You actually have to put in the work to analyze everything that you're feeling, to give your emotions the time to speak when it needs to speak. Think of your feelings as visitors in your house. They are just visitors. They are guests. They will always pass. But you have to give them the time to speak. You have to give them the time to know them. They're your feelings. They're in you. You can't ignore everything about you. Why? Why did the sun go away? It does not have to be a permanent part of you. It does not have to be a part of you that's like, well, I'm angry. I'm just an angry person. I'm angry all the time. So whatever, that's just that. And I can't do anything about that. That anger, that emotion is a guest in your house. You can decide if you want to hold on to that anger or not. You can let it go. Give it the time to speak, but it doesn't have to stay in your house if you don't want it to. It is your house. Try to understand why your anger is there in the first place. Why is your anger visiting your home? When you let your anger the time to speak, you eventually figure out everything else that is attached to that anger. It's not just because you're angry because you're angry. There's more things attached to that anger. There is more context. That anger has a narrative that you are unaware of. And when you let your anger speak, when you let whatever feeling speak, you can say at the end of it, when you truly understand everything, when you thought about everything, say, thank you for your time. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for all that you have taught me. And it's time to go. And then you let that thought leave. You let that emotion leave. That's the way that I picture meditation. Your mind is your house. And the thoughts that come in are just guests. They don't have to stay. But they're visiting you for a reason. These guests are visiting your house for a reason. They stay around for a reason. That's when you can start filtering out things that worked and things that didn't work. Using from a personal example, I harbored a lot of negative, angry feelings that I did not want to lead on. Not even just anger, but behind it, it was just a deep sense of like sadness, disappointment that I didn't want to acknowledge. I didn't want to admit that these people had power over me, had some kind of power over me. They made me upset. They still affected me after all this time. Probably like 6 months time. That's a lot of time to be holding on to negative feelings that don't serve you anymore, that don't help you, that just weigh you down. I learned that sometimes when you're trying to find the answer to something and there are no more answers, sometimes it's not that there's no answer to be found, but it's that it's the truth that needs to be accepted. I didn't acknowledge that I was hurt. I didn't acknowledge that I was angry. It's just taking the time to acknowledge the guests in your house. Taking the time to acknowledge that you are upset, that you are angry, but it's okay. And these feelings will pass. But if you never give them the time to speak, if you never give it the time to explain itself, then you won't even know that it's there. You won't even acknowledge that it's there. You can only ignore something for so long until the beach ball pops out the pool and then splashes everybody and you start projecting and hurting everybody, okay? This analogy works somehow, right? Whatever. There's a lot of healing that I did through meditation by being aware of my thoughts, being aware of my feelings, and just admitting that I have these subconscious thoughts. Admit that I have these problems that are unresolved. But just understanding that by giving the time, by meditating, every time that you meditate, every time that you let your thoughts speak, every time that you let the guest in your house speak, you heal. You heal from it, and it will eventually pass. I feel like in the beginning it was like once in a while, but now I meditate regularly. I pretty much meditate like every day or every other day. I just feel more in control. I feel more in control of my thoughts. I accept my feelings. I accept my emotions. I don't act like a robot anymore. I don't act like I'm just this super strong person that can ignore everything and that doesn't have feelings and I can go through anything and do what I want and blah, 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 blah. I'm a human. I have feelings. Sometimes I get sad. Sometimes I get angry. And that's okay. And those bad moments will always pass and it will always be followed by a good moment. I feel like I'm just more connected to the universe, divine, source, higher self, my higher self, whatever messages that come through. I just trust my intuition a lot more. I don't know how to explain that meditation has helped me be more in tuned and aligned with the universe, but it has. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I have like hour-long meditation sessions just because it's fun. It's really fun to see where your mind takes you, to see why to understand who you are and to understand why you hold on to the things that you hold on to. All right, I think that's just the beginning explanation of me and my meditation. You can just do 5 minutes. All right, start at whatever makes you feel comfortable. Just you and yourself, you and your mind, you and your feelings. Sit there and start counting your breaths, 1 to 10, starting over. Start doing body scans. How do you feel in your feet? How do you feel in your legs? How do you feel in your chest? Everything, whatever random thought pops in your head, follow that thought. Figure out why that thought popped in your head. Figure out why that thought is still a guest in your house. So bye guys. I hope you have a good day. I hope that night, evening, wherever time you're watching this, if you want to meditate, that'd be cool. That'd be dope. I love everybody. And I hope that you guys have an easy process learning how to meditate and things like that. Mwah. Thank you.